Hello everyone, my name is DK and welcome to today's video. Today I will be talking about shading, specifically two types, hatching and cell shading, for anyone who is interested in learning how to shade or is generally curious about art. But before we start, if you want to see more stuff like this, check out my website dkmediaart.wordpress.com. I have tons of artworks that I make myself there, so go check it out, links in the description. To start, I will talk about hatching. Hatching is essentially drawing lines to define areas that are shaded. Now, there are two types of hatching, standard hatching and cross hatching. Standard hatching is just drawing the lines normally like so, whereas cross hatching is drawing another layer of lines at a different angle to darken an area further. But before we start hatching the face of the dragon, we must first determine the source of light, which in this case will be the small dragon up in the corner here. Something to keep in mind while hatching is gradient. This crosses over to cell shading too, but we'll get into that later. Gradient is essentially making something go from light to dark or dark to light gradually. I generally like using gradients under the neck area and on the eyes. Another thing to mention is that not all lined areas are places to shade, but some areas like this are. The reason why there isn't always a line to determine shading is because some areas are rounded, which means that there isn't harsh lines separating light from dark. And I'll just bring you back when I finish shading here. All right, here's the finished product. See here that all of the shading is in the appropriate areas away from the light source, giving definition to the face of the dragon. Now, before we get to cell shading, I want to mention something that applies to both of them, information. But what do I mean by information? Well, let's use our little sun up here to explain this. Right now, it may be a bit confusing to tell what body parts are where on this little sun here. But if we shade the areas that are on the other side of him like so, we can convey easy information to the viewers about where his body parts are. Now on to cell shading. All of the same processes apply. Where's light coming from? In this case, our little dragon is our light source again. Where are there areas that need shading that aren't defined by lines? And where would gradients help me here? One thing to note about cell shading is that generally it is a quick and clean cut between a lighter version of the color to a darker shade of the color to convey the information that there is a shadow in said area. Once that is figured out, you can get an end result similar to this. Now, shading is also about your way of conveying information to your viewer, and it can be customized in a plethora of fun and unique ways to express exactly what you want on the page. The most important thing, however, is to enjoy it and have fun. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Now, I would have ended the video there, but in order for me to get a 100 on this midterm, I need to add YouTube's golden rule. So if you don't mind, grab your phone, smash the notification, like, and subscribe to my channel. I have tons of fun content on my channel I'd love for you to check out. It'll help my grade and my channel. Thank you again, and see you in the next one.